And I say, well, number one, stop trying. Number two, get busy being the kind of person that a girl would want to be with. See, you need to start with the person you shave. A girl doesn't care if you're good looking. I mean, look at all the great looking women who have, I mean, look at my wife, she's with me. What it comes down to is you need to be willing to construct an environment for your girlfriend or for your wife, for your family, where they can be safe, where they can be provided for, where they can be protected and loved. And then you create this environment, this safe space for your family. And that's exactly what women want. So they will flock to you for that. But I think in the same way, our founding fathers wanted to create a country where we could be protected and provided for, and where love was the foundational precept. Now, let me back up and talk about my job a little bit more. I was in Israel 2 days after October 7th. That horrific attack where thousands of Palestinians, I used to say thousands of Hamas terrorists, but it wasn't just Hamas terrorists, it was a lot of civilians too, flooded across the border illegally into Israel and just went on a rampage, killing more than 1,100 people, taking hundreds of people hostage. Not just killing them, but defiling them in every way possible. And I got there 2 days after it happened, and there were still bodies in the streets just laying. They hadn't even had a chance to clean everything up yet. It was absolutely horrific. There was a young man who I heard about then almost right away. He had been at the music festival, the Nova Music Festival down in the South that was attacked, and they had, he fled when the shooting started and then said, oh no, I've got friends still in there. And he ran back in and got some of his friends out, and then ran back in again and got some more of his friends out, and went in a third time to get more of his friends out, and then he was killed in there. I think if we can learn anything from October 7th, it's that, well, we can learn several things. First of all, you cannot expect the government to come and save you. It's time for us, you need to be willing to be your own hero. Because it took the government 7 hours to get their act together, and part of it was just literally because of pride, because the leadership in the IDF and in the government would not believe that something like that could happen, and they kept getting reports that there's fighting down there, they're flooding in, and they'd say, no, they can't do that. Our systems are too good. That can't happen. They just wouldn't believe it. And pride goes before a fall. And so on that day, it turns out there were three kinds of people in Israel. There were those who froze. There's a lot of video that came out of the attack, filmed by Hamas fighters. And you can literally see people just standing in their apartments or in their homes. When the fighters come in, they just stand there. They don't know what to do. And they die. They're killed, just like that. There are those who fled, who ran away. That was most people. And then there was a small number of people who fought back. Some of them didn't even have weapons. Some of them went and figured out a way to take out some Hamas fighters and take their weapons. But they fought back. They ran toward the sound of the guns. Let me tell you something. We need more people like that in this country. to the extent that we become known as a nation of people who will fight back, these terrible attacks that we see, these mass shootings that we see, all this kind of stuff that happens in the United States will end, because that functions as a deterrent. Why is it that most of the mass shootings that we see in our country happen in what I would call soft targets? Schools and churches and Walmarts and places like that. And they don't typically happen in places like Texas, although there have been a few. Bad people are going to gravitate to the low-hanging fruit. They're going to go for the things, for the places where it's easiest to commit their crimes, for the most part. And so to the extent that more of us can be the kind of people who are prepared and ready to fight back and to stand up for our country, for our families. How many of you are veterans here? Raise your hand. Thank you very much. Thank you for your service. I don't know about you, but that oath that you took didn't come with an expiration date. We've got millions of veterans in this country.